Hey, I'm here to talk to you about being a percussionist. Now, unlike other instruments like the clarinet or trombone, where they only have to learn one instrument, as a percussionist, you have to learn how to play a whole bunch of different instruments. The biggest two that we're going to spend our time on are going to be the mallets, or more specifically, the bells, and the snare drum. Now, the bells is set up very much like a piano. Like you can imagine a piano with its black keys on the top and the white keys on the bottom. So if you know how to play piano, playing the bells is going to be very easy to you because it's something you've already done. So it is often helpful and maybe even encouraged if you want to be a percussionist to be a pianist first. It's not required to be a piano player, but it is often helpful. So here's an example of what the bells might sound like. A little bit of the entertainer, or maybe a little Mozart. All right, so that's the bells. We're going to spend a lot of time learning how to read the music, learning what each note on the keyboard is. And you may have done something similar to this in your music classes, but sometimes we take the bars off. I'm going to make you learn what each one of those notes are. Now, talking about snare drum, sometimes people think, oh, it's just you just hit it. Well, it's a little bit more complicated than that. We're going to spend a lot of time learning how to move our sticks and gaining a lot of stick control, learning what the notation means and how to play that. So maybe something like this. Or playing something a little more complex. So the snare drum. Now this is a drum pad. Whenever we play in large groups, we often play on a real snare drum. This is what you get for playing at home and for playing in our lessons. It feels exactly the same as a snare drum. It's just not as loud, and it's a lot lighter, and it's a little bit cheaper. So if you go to get a percussion kit, you don't have to buy the whole snare drum. You just get the drum pad, and it works out just as well. And eventually we'll move on to things like timpani and crash cymbals and snares and triangles and tambourines and all kinds of fun things like that. So this is what being a percussionist is like. One thing that we do not teach as beginning teachers here in Iowa City is that we do not teach rock drumming. All right, so we teach classical drumming, which is with your bells and your snare drum. If you're looking to be a rock drummer, that's something that you would have to go do with a private lesson teacher somewhere else. And we can help you find a teacher if you're looking for that. Just know that that's not something that we teach. And that usually we don't get into that until you're in 7th grade or 8th grade or high school even, if you want to be a rock or jazz drummer. So, classical percussionist, I hope to see you being a percussionist sometime soon.